I'll be stepping down from GRDC, Grandmont Rosedale Development Corporation, effective at the end of this year. So there are, at the last board meeting, there was a lot of conversations about what they were going to do or how are they going to restructure or realign the board or get the board in compliance with certain regulations and stipulations in order for it to receive funding from certain groups, certain entities. So I haven't heard any more about that. And after this board meeting, I probably won't hear anything more about it because I won't be on the board. So that's something up in air now as to how the board is going, GRDC, how that board is going to reconfigure itself. I don't know if it's going to be still 3-3-3, three representatives from Grandmont number 1, 3 from Grandmont, 3 from Rosedale Park, 3 from North Rosedale Park, and I think 2 from Minot Park, but that's just because of Minot Park's population size. We are not
through the chair. You indicated that you wouldn't be getting the information because you would no longer be on the board. No. What about those of us who are on the board?
You'll get information, and that on the next month's GRDC reports updates, it will have y'all's names instead of mine. So one or two of y'all will be making the reports to the community as our representatives from Grandmont number 1. So, but we'll see. I think they're still going to have presidents meetings or things like that. But GRDC, I'm doubtful they'll send me any kind of information or have any. I won't receive any communications about the board of directors and anything that's going on there once I'm no longer on the board. I just assume that will happen, but we'll see. Okay, so first of all, since Annie's the only one here, I don't see Cheryl logged in yet. Look over in chats. I don't see her. If she can hear me, then it's fine, she can chime in. Otherwise, Annie, do you have anything to add to GRDC updates?
Well, you know they're going to start development of that property on Minot. They whatever financing and bidding and the like. I think that the most
those people that are on the board that don't know, explain that. Like you said,
well, GRDC purchased property on Grand River, in Minot, and then they discovered it's a historical landmark, whereby they're going to renovate this apartment complex and turn it into, I believe, diverse, affordable living. Okay. It's going to be cross-generational, seniors, and again, folks younger than seniorship. And it's going to be specific to, hopefully, folks who live in the neighborhood. Okay. So, and I think the address is 19500 Grand. It's interesting too, because it does have a Grand River address. Or no, or is it out of drive? I think it's 19800 Outer Drive.
Okay, for
the huge complex there on Outer Drive.
If you're coming from Grand River towards Finkel, it will be on your right-hand side. Right. I think 3 apartment buildings, and they've been there for a long time. They've always been well maintained on the outside. So that's what GRDC has bought or is buying. And then the strange thing is that they found out that it's actually in the historical designation for Rosedale Park. So while behind the property, the house that they bought and they're going to tear down, that's in Minot Park, but the actual 3 apartment buildings are in the historical designation for Rosedale Park. So that's how the board got all of this stuff involved, because they have to meet certain criteria to receive funding from certain groups, and they're trying to figure that out. So, but because it's in, oh my God, I'm sorry, it's because it's actually in Rosedale Park. Okay, moving on. I see we have safety meetings here. Has anyone been to a safe? Are they even having them? And if they do, I'm gonna write it down. See if they have on what day.
They have not had any as of yet.
Okay. Now, who is that saying something?
Michelle Emerson.
Okay, Michelle Emerson, you're welcome.
Yes.
So we can go right to you right now.
Okay. Well, Annie Mae did send me a new resident that we have over on Stahalin, Robert and Valerie White.
Okay.
So we have not had any new updates. You know, I've tried to contact a few others, but no response as of yet.
Okay.
Were you able to send out any other packets at all?
And that's what I need. I need a few copies of our packet that we updated.
Didn't I send you a email attachment?
That's Denise behind me talking.
Yeah, I hear her in the background there.
You know where that?
Okay, I did get an attachment. Yes, but I thought you were printing out a few copies.
Oh yeah, I can print out some.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, is Aaron on the line?
He was.
Oh, okay.
I don't see him now.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Okay, we also have a new neighbor on Warwick. She thought 440. She thought she lived in Grandmont. So Diane Patterson in Grandmont hooked the new neighbor and me up. And I was hoping, because I did send her the Zoom meeting information.
Do you have her name?
Her name is Kecia Counts, Kecia. But I haven't heard from her in relationship to the email and my attempt to connect with her. And again, I sent her, and I don't have her phone number. I can only communicate with her via email. So,
yeah,
but
that's
she,
a little hard sometimes when we don't have an email address or a phone number to communicate, because right now we're not even ringing doorbells or anything. So it makes it a little
Michelle,
hard.
through the chair.
Yeah.
Michelle, I do have her email.
Okay.
Do you want me to loop
You have
you?
the chat. Can you let us those of us that are on the computer and can use the chat. Let's type this information in so that others can pick it up and see it. If you're on a phone, I don't know if the chat feature works. I don't know because I've never tried it.
Okay.
I don't
Annie Mae,
understand.
can you send that to me? This is Michelle again. Can you send that email address to me when you get time this evening?
Anything?
Okay, let me say this. Michelle,
Yes.
if you could, because we have to respect her privacy, if you could text me, well, you know what I'll do, Michelle? I'll text you, because I do have your phone number. I'll text you her email,
Okay.
and then you can try to make a connect.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, another thing through the chair. Denise, I text you Aaron's phone number as well as Carla's phone number.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So we got
Chair, while I have your attention, so we're not covering the minutes? That's not on the agenda?
I haven't got that far yet. I see where I skipped
Okay.
over.
I'm sorry.
I know
Okay.
I'm going to stop right now and ask for the reading of the minutes, and I'll come back to my thoughts on safety meetings.
Okay, now you received 2 sets.
Yes.
You received October 6th and November. So which do you want me to highlight or what?
The last one.
November the 6th?
Yep.
Okay. I have to go back into my phone because I tried to I tried to bring them up on this Zoom meeting, but it's not working. Okay, November the 3rd. October was a good meeting, but I'll do as you asked.
Well, that's 2 months ago.
Grandmont #1 Association membership meeting via Zoom, Tuesday, November the 3rd, 2020. Oliver Cole, President, Alexander Jones, Vice President, 2020 dues, $50. That should be 2021 dues, $50. Household, apartment, businesses make check payable to Grandmont #1 Improvement Association, Post Office Box 23065, Detroit, Michigan 48223. We now have the ability to accept credit cards for dues payments and donations for Grandmont #1 Improvement Association. Then we have that PayPal as well as the Cash App, which is $, the Cash App is $, Grandmont #1 dot, well, really Grandmont #1 with the dot and the 1. And I believe this is a all caps IMPASSOP. Through the chair, correct, Teresa? Okay. The
It's a little
treasurer's report-
different, but
You said it's different?
it's, you put a dot in and there's no dots.
You mean after Grandmont #1, there's no?
There's no dot at all.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll make
Sure.
the correction. Thank you, Teresa.
Sure.
The treasurer's report, beginning balance 10/01/20, $15,104.16. Ending balance 10/31/2020, $16,138.93. Total deposit $1,325. Total disbursement $290.23. The president shared that Shonda has resigned as chair of PYD, Positive Youth Development Committee. He asked if someone would volunteer to take over the committee. Oliver also shared he is stepping down from the board of GRDC. He has been on the board for more than 12 years. He noticed several people have indicated an interest to serve as a representative from Grandmont #1. He responded to Frida's question of what is the safety committee. He referenced the property on Schoolcraft and GRDC's lack of development support. He shared his disappointment in Grandmont #1 not being able to acquire lots on Granville because of lack of GRD support. He identified present development on Grand River, which supports North Rosedale Park. Denise Cole asked if GRDC could pay for our mailing in that they are our fiduciary. Denise placed Granville property on Improved Detroit, and asked if Carla could help with the removal of the rubbish on the lots. Oliver mentioned the three vacant lots between Acacia and Kendall. He asked Harold if the vacant property task force could come up with funds to maintain these three additional vacant lots. Terrence Hicks explained how the gas line installation notification is managed. Oliver asked the membership if they have a speed bump installed. No one responded with an affirmative. Denise shared Grandmont #1 has welcome packets. She asked to receive addresses and she will deliver the package. Teresa noted she and Denise are preparing the dues membership solicitation and that they are to go out. The envelope will contain the Grandmont #1 FYI refrigerator magnet. How can we get young folks involved with GRDC? Denise shared there will be a survey to go out into the neighborhood to get ideas of activities neighbors would like to see happen in Grandmont number 1. 1600 Lawrence now houses a Black-owned cider mill, known as Detroit-owned cider mill. Oliver suggested we make sure to support our local Black businesses. He recommended Jerry's Tree Service. The meeting adjourned at 7:53, submitted by Annie Hope, recording secretary.
Okay, other than some typos, like I got too many I's or L's in Oliver, but other than that, minor stuff. Anything else? I want to add that Harold and Annie did get the trash on the vacant lots between Schoolcraft and Kendall brought to the curb, and I think they were picked up.
And they haven't been picked up yet,
They
Oliver.
haven't been, I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah, I saw the.
It's between Kendall and Acacia.
Kendall and Acacia. Okay.
Acacia, right.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Both. Thank you both of them. Okay. Any other additions to the minutes as read? If not, then could we have a motion to accept the minutes?
I move that we accept the minutes.
It's been moved by Harold Harris. A second.
I second.
Been seconded by Denise Sellers Cole. All in favor?
Aye.
Wave your hand. I can see. Okay. All opposed? No voices, so it's carried. Thank you very much. We're going to move right on into the treasurer's report. Okay.
Treasurer's report as of for the month ending November 30th, 2020. This is the beginning balance of November 1st was $16,138.93. We collected due checks and cash in the amount of $250 for dues, PayPal to $100, and for donations $50, which came to a total of $400. That rounded to $16,538.93. And there were purchases, well, a purchase for on the debit card for Office Depot of supplies, which include envelopes, paper, and stamps for the invoices. And I'm just showed that it's the PayPal, but that's basically just to round out. It's not a withdrawal from our account, but it shows that with that total, there's 508.35 and 350 totals $511.85 dispersed out for the month, and that give us an ending balance of $16,027.08. We also show the Cash App name on the report, which reads as dollar. There's no spaces in between it. It is $ Grandmont NO1 IMP ASSOC. Grandmont number 1 IMP ASSOC. And that's, so hopefully you don't pick up anything else that would have a name similar to it. And I put it in the cash. I put it in the chat also.
Mhm.
Actually, the second one is correct because the first one has a space.
Yep.
And I also want to state that the first of our payments for All Seasons Landscaping has been dispersed for starting this month in the amount of $1,500.
Okay. Thank you. I want to ask a question. On the dues, I see something where it says donation. Now,
Right.
this donation, did that come in the form of a check or is that through a PayPal?
That came in the form of a check.
Okay.
Actually, what it is, because some people, paid dues. Some of them are actually checking well, I'm gonna say it. They are actually trying to pay for both years and we can't go back because we use the same access database. So 20 is being deposited into the donation side. And I verify with them, with the members once they do it. So basically they're paying for 2 years.
Okay. All
And I have
right.
to keep track of whatever they're paying so I can know where it's going.
Okay.
But that's what that is.
All right. Thanks. Anybody got any questions or comments
Yes, Chair Oliver.
Yeah.
Okay, Teresa, did I understand you to say that if a person donates, that donation goes into the future of their dues pay? Did I
No,
understand that?
no.
Okay,
It is because some people now are still paying their 2020 dues along with 2021. Unfortunately, the way it's set up, we have nowhere else to put it, but I will track that these are their 2020 dues, so they'll show that they did pay it, but I cannot go back into 2020 and say, okay, we still collecting this. So unless I create another column and just say past dues or whatever they want to, however they want to do it, okay? But right now, it's basically, that is dues, but I have to put it in donations to be able to capture it.
Okay.
Because there is no other title that I have for it right now.
Are there any other questions?
I did want to say that I think I need, as we get new members, Mr. Harold has kept me up with most of the names, but for the one like this, the new person that Annie just mentioned on Warwick, she will be, everybody in the neighborhood will be receiving an invoice. So once you get that information, I would like to have it also if possible so that we can do, make sure she's included with her name, with her name as opposed to whoever the previous person is.
through the chair.
Yes.
Okay, Teresa, I'll send you via email before the meeting is over with.
Thank you.
Because she had paid the dues to Grandmont, and Diane Patterson returned her money. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that she will respond perhaps to your request to pay dues to now Grandmont number 1.
Right, so if
And
we
again,
have her
through the
address I'm sorry.
I'm gonna send you the address and her name in
Okay.
in the email. And
Great.
through the chair, I will also remind Michelle that I'm gonna text her the same information, basically that I'm emailing Teresa.
Okay.
All right. Having said all that, are there any additions and corrections to the dues, the treasurer's report as read? Not? Okay. Can we get a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I move that we accept the treasurer's report.
Harold Harris has moved. Second.
I second.
Second?
Denise has seconded, and we had a second from somebody else. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? It has been moved and accepted. Thank you very much. I will go back to our agenda, which was safety meetings, and they aren't having any. So that ends that. And we'll go right to Grandmont Informer, Tamanda. And if you have the floor.
Okay, here I am. Can everybody hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, good. Really quick, I'd like to also request that I get the updated version of the list of residents, be they new, because I need to update the Grandmont number 1 Informer contact list, and the only way that I can do that is if I have updated information. Currently, this reporting, we are only contacting 237 of our residents. We have over 1,100 houses or addresses, be they used or not used. It's just that we don't have enough updated information on our list so that we can add that and make sure we reach out, especially now that everybody's with COVID and they need a way to be informed, and this is how we've been doing it. So that's all. It's doing really good. Our last issue went out for fall edition, volume 52, issue 4. We had 237, as I mentioned, of them, and only 74 of them open. So I want to be able to push the opportunity to have more open clicks or more people looking at our information. Also, with the potential for us to collect dues from at least 90% of our neighborhood,
100.
we'd like to have a way. Well, 100%, Harold. Yes, I'm in agreement. But at least let us get to just kind of a stretch goal right now, or a target goal of 90% and a stretch goal of 100%. Then we can communicate with as many as we possibly can, so that we will be able to keep them informed, as well as get our dues on time and sent out. And that's it. Unless anybody has any questions or needs any information.
Do
Through
you
the
know how?
chair.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Who's talking? Is that Harold?
Yeah. Do you
Okay.
know when we get any hard copies?
Well, because we're still, the governor has
Because of
put us
COVID.
back on restriction, yes.
Okay. 'Cause
And
of
so
COVID.
I don't want to, I just will not put anybody in that kind of risk.
Okay.
So until that's listed, then we're just going to continue to do it electronically. But I do understand that there are residents or our neighbors that still want the hard copy. But it's just, I just rather us stay safe.
Okay.
We're not
good.
going
That's
face to face with
Mhm.
them,
Mhm.
just basically putting them in the mailing box, because you're not doing face to face.
No, I understand, but we don't want anybody going door to door. Someone may open the door, someone may not. I would just rather not have that risk.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Okay, T Manda, so you're asking for me to send you the email for the new neighbor?
You can send it to me too, Annie, but I'm honestly asking for a more updated entire list of neighbors. The list that I've got is a year old, and so I know we've gained neighbors since then, and I'd like to just update our electronic contact. And the only way that I can do that is if I get an updated list consistently. So we're working to develop one so that we can. But you
Again,
can send it to me, Annie.
This is,
through the chair.
Mhm.
So the updated, so the information that I would send to you, okay, what I'll do is I'll send one email that will include this person to you, and Michelle, I'll text you. And
Okay.
who else wants it? Who else wants it?
Well,
Oh, well, Teresa. Teresa wants it and you want
I
it.
have a
So
question.
I'll send you that email that includes that person's name and address.
Okay.
May I, this is
Okay,
Teresa,
that's-
like to speak? Oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead, Teresa.
Once the database is complete and updated with all the addresses that I do have to put in, I will forward a copy and then Amanda will have it.
That's perfect. Thank you.
That's where
That's
you have
perfect.
all the people,
Yep,
whoever what I have.
that's perfect. That'll be perfect. Thank you so much.
Tamanda.
Through the chair. So then do I understand? Send it to Teresa, and then Manda, you're gonna wait for her to send you a more updated copy, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Just to
Okay.
cut down on confusion. Okay.
Right, and
Okay.
then bits and pieces, even though it's technology.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Thank you for that. Through the
Okay.
chair.
Having said that, Tamanda needs the email addresses for every member possible in Grandmont number 1, because she sends out the informer. I, on the other hand, need the email addresses because I send out the notices and all other things that you get because of whatnot. I don't, in my database that I don't have listed people's addresses. I just have their emails. I guess I could, and I'd have to go back and manually enter in all 235 people that I have that I sent out an email to. So I think Tamanda and I probably have about the same email addresses, maybe plus or minus one person. She may have one person that I don't have. I might have one person she doesn't have. But it's critical that we are really looking to establish, quote unquote, a master file of all 1,100 residents, homes, and ways to communicate them. Only 2 ways that we're going to communicate, I'm going to communicate with a person is through email or mail. I'm not going to be calling people up. But we do have Harold Harris that does do phone calls and conversation. And I understand people and their desire for privacy, whether it's, I'm an open book, so my phone has been the same for 25 years. Address is published, so that's me. But I understand other people. But if we can't communicate with you, we can't get information that's important for you to know. So that's on the people that it's voluntary. You don't have to give us your address. You don't have to give us your phone number. You don't have to give us your email. But then don't be out in the street talking about I don't know what's going on, because there's no other way to get information to you without being able to contact you. Go ahead.
Okay,
I just
now
want
how
to
do
say,
we go? I do have a master list of my block,
Now who's this?
and this is Michelle.
Okay,
But how do we go about getting their email addresses?
ask. If you got
Well, that
that
means I have to make contact.
when
and
if you have is it possible that when we send out the invoices,
I was just gonna ask that.
does the invoices have like name, address, and phone numbers, email?
it's going to have the address of whomever I have.
Yeah.
But if you are only collecting their email, I will not have whoever was the previous address. If it's a new person, I will not have that person's address. And so they got to basically, hopefully I will put in there to send in any corrections and our email addresses.
Yes.
So that we can update our database.
Well, that's what we.
And you will receive a copy of this database, even though it's an Access database right now.
Yeah, we need to capture the other people. I have names, I have addresses, but no emails.
Now,
And I might not have everybody's either.
Just about everyone on my block.
okay.
So going
That-
forward though, Michelle, going forward, when you capture the names of the new neighbors, can you also request an email just so that we can have an autonomous list being built?
Now, that means I have to have their address to even contact them. Some people
No,
don't.
no.
No.
No, what I'm saying is going forward. So from this point
yeah.
on,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Here's what we need from all new residents and all residents that we have. We need your name. Or you don't really truly, I don't even need your name. I need your address and I need your email. That's all I need. Now, because I'm not calling you on the phone. So if you want to be personal, yeah, you can give me your name, address, phone, and email. Just like you do when you fill out anything that you ever put your name in. This is standard. This is standard stuff that no matter where you go, they ask for your name, address, phone, and email. I can't think of any place that I've ever been in the last 25 years that haven't asked me that same question. In fact, that's why I got a Yahoo account for those people that I don't want to be bothered with jamming up my email. I give them that one. But yeah, so anyway, moving on, we will get this thing there. So old business, commercial property on Schoolcraft. In the last minutes, it was stated that I had frustration with GRDC in securing property on Schoolcraft. Needs to be explained what I mean by frustration. And that is that it's been no secret that I wanted to see development along Schoolcraft as I see development along Grand River. And that's one of my sticking points with being on that board for 12 years, is that I should have seen some type of GRDC development on Schoolcraft by now. I didn't care, buy a storefront, do something, but I got zero. So I'm not happy with that. Now, in terms of the vacant lots, GRDC had contacted the land bank, and the land bank told GRDC, because we wanted them, GRDC, the Grandmont Rosedale Development Corporation, to be our fiduciary and get those 6 lots that we got fenced in and the other 2 on the opposite side of Granville. And I was told by the Grandmont Rosedale Development Corporation that the land bank refused to do that for them. So it's not that GRDC didn't help, the land bank refused to go forward with it. So that's what happened there. So that's not GRDC's fault, because that property is owned by the land bank. And I see we got Councilmember Tate online, and I got a buzz to put in your ear about that. We are taking care of land bank property, have been taking care of it, improved it, but when we request to own it, we get shut down and talk about no. Well, then let the Detroit Land Bank come, pay for the fencing, pay for the cutting and grass cutting that we're paying for then. Because we've gone up and cleaned up those vacant, nasty lots twice. The mayor stood out there one day. So if it's land bank property, then let the damn land bank take care of it like they're supposed to. But if we're gonna take care of it, then we're gonna own it.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Go ahead, Mr. Councilman. Happy Kwanzaa coming up.
Happy Kwanzaa. How do you as well? So what was the last response that you got from, because I missed some of it. I just came back. What was the last response you got from?
My last response was from Sharita Smith when she informed me that the land bank would not deal the property or deed it or sell it or give it to, I don't know how they were going to do it, whether they're going to sell it to GRDC, deed it to them, give it to them, whatnot. But the mayor, I stood next to him when he said many a time, you guys come up with a plan for this land, you can have it. Okay, we come up with a plan. We want the land. We've improved it. We've improved it. And out of our vacant property task force budget, we not only put up the split rail fencing behind it, but we have our neighbor across the street that, you know, in the summertime was mowing it and cutting it, both lots, all 8 lots. So Grandmont #1 is actually maintaining those lots. And it was a community-wide effort about a year, maybe, yeah, a year and a half ago, where we went out and planted all those shrubs and flowers out there. And I know Tamanda has the addresses to where they are, because she sent them to me at least 3 or 4 times. But the councilman, the properties are on the first block of Granville off of Schoolcraft between Kendall. There are 6 lots on the west side and 2 lots on the east side.
Okay. Mr. Chair, what I'll do is, if you don't mind, give you a call tomorrow and we follow up with you and get all the details.
No problem.
Yeah, I'll make sure, because we have Detroit Land Bank Authority is in the committee that I chair, so shouldn't have a problem getting at least some good response.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Secretary, maybe we'll get that out. Okay. Grandmont #1, 5013C, 501c3. Tamanda? Does she hear me? Okay. I see her picture.
Okay, I was talking on mute. 501c3, we're still building so that we can go back. We have to do some more detailed information, which means I'm going to have to get with Teresa when she has time so that we can sit down and discuss what they need.
Okay.
And then once we're able to do that, then we can move forward with resubmitting. But we're still on the right track. We just have some more information that they're requesting to get so that we can move forward with the 501c3 status.
Okay. All right.
So they are operating now, or is that still kind of on hold?
No, they're not. That's another issue, but I just wanted to get the answer. Once they start back up, I want to be in line for us to get it, because we've been waiting so long.
Well, Tamanda, give me a call, or you can have a mini Zoom meeting with me if you want to go face to face, and we'll get this straightened out. But just as a FYI to the membership that's listening, a lot of people have had to readjust how they do business with COVID. And I'm talking about going forward. It's not just the state of Michigan and how do people go out and dine, but a lot of these foundations, they depended upon that face-to-face networking. It's a kind of very personable kind of a business. That's how it gets done. I'm anxious to see how it's gonna work detached through Zoom and the computer, because you don't get the feel for a person, and especially when you got your hand out asking for money over the internet versus, I mean, we might as well be a bunch of Nigerian princes asking for stuff over the internet. But I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to work out with the philanthropic organizations, how they one-on-one, because they literally, I've been at a few meetings and they literally give you an eyeball and you can feel them doing a Star Trek scan on you in person. They feel you out. They really read. They're very good at reading whomever is sitting across the table. And I'm wondering to see how that's going to translate in this video virtual world. Harold Harris, there ain't no substitute for face-to-face communication. I am here to tell you that. I believe in it.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Okay, Oliver, in that you are gonna have a sit down with Councilmember Tate about those lots that Mr. John White has been keeping up with that you referenced earlier. Did you also want to include the 2 lots that we are presently cleaning up, the ones that Carla has sent a requisition to have Advance come and move the rubbish that was placed on the burn?
It will not only be with Mr. Tate, Councilmember Tate, will not only be the 6 lots on the west side, but the 2 other ones on the east side, both between Schoolcraft and Kendall, and the additional 3 lots that are between Acacia and Linden. That's like really hidden.
Yeah.
Really hidden. And we have, see, on those 2 streets on Granville are our most populated streets on Granville. Like, we've got a lot of people that live between, well, I won't say a lot. There's 17 houses, 30 some houses on the block of Piedmont, and you go right 1 block over, and I think there's 9 total occupied houses on Granville, total. Yeah.
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Annie.
I believe I believe Harold was trying to give more specificity about the lots I was discussing. Did I understand, Harold?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
That I was discussing was between Kendall and Acacia.
Yeah, we got those.
Okay.
We Kendall and Acacia. Okay, I know.
Correct.
That's where
Correct. Those are the lots that we have Carla picking up rubbish.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, but what we're talking about, those are I wouldn't say so much vacant lots. Well, I guess they are.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
They're abandoned houses and lots. But what I'm talking about, ownership for Grandmont number 1 are the lots between Schoolcraft and Kendall, and then the lots also between Acacia and Linden. And I'm not thinking about owning anything between Kendall and Acacia unless they want to throw in Vito Elementary School. We'll take that. We'll take that. We'll take it off their hands. We'll do more with it in 1 year than they've done with it in 20. Give it to us and see. Watch and see. We'll find a way to make it work. Just give it to us. Okay, moving on now. Property maintenance, Granville, we already discussed this, grass cutting, flower shrub maintenance. Other lots between Acacia and Linden. Some of us don't know, because if you're not driving down the street, you'll never know they're even there. But they're very, and the actual lot, I call those see-through lots, because not only do you have the lot on the Granville Street, but the lot on the next street behind it, there's nothing there. So you have a complete city block of acreage. If you ever wonder where the deer and the antelope go when you don't see them, that's where they are. Quality of life issues, Grandmont number 1. Speeding in the neighborhood, I'm gonna ask, has anybody else got their speed hump? Councilmember Tate, if you're still online, I think the email that was sent out to me, I see Alicia Bell is online. The email that was sent out to me for Grandmont number 1 is that there'd be 2 streets. One's Piedmont. Piedmont has been done. Speed humps. We got 5 of them. But also Greenview was the other street. And I don't know if there's anybody online at this meeting that's from Greenview. I know Richard Stacy and David Becker have been all over this, but they're not on this meeting. So is anybody that lives on Greenview?
I live on Greenview.
Rose?
Yes, this is Timanda.
Yeah, we don't have
No,
any
this
speed
is
bumps.
Okay, you're supposed to get
this
one.
is Timanda.
Yeah, you're supposed to get one. That was in the email that was sent out. And they said 2020. Well, this is the last month of 2020, so they need to get on out there and dig it up and get it done.
Mr. Cole,
Yes, who's this?
this is,
Carla.
this
Oh,
is,
how you doing?
yes, sir, this is Carla Williamson.
Doing? Good evening.
Good evening. So I just want to let everyone know that as far as, hi, Ms. Hope, as far as speed humps are concerned, just because we were pushed back because of COVID, they tried to make sure that all districts got a few speed humps instead of just staying in one district and putting all the speed humps. So although we're getting close to the end of the year, the goal is to still get them done as the weather will permit. But that is the reason why you don't see all of them completed in our space. It's for everyone to get a few. So I will check on the Greenview address to see if it's.
Greenville Street,
sorry.
between Schoolcraft and Linden.
Yes, sir.
And the reason why I'm asking or bringing it up is because I keep getting private emails from, as I mentioned, Richard Stacy and David Becker about the same, because it was put in there, that email. They saw that it came on Piedmont back in June, and now it's December. And so they're questioning what happened to it, or how come it didn't get all done at the same time. I tell them I'm not out there digging it up. I got no control of that. So
the response for why it didn't happen immediately was because they want to make sure they get a little bit everywhere. But as I said, I will find out if the weather will allow us to get a few more down.
okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I've got here crime in Grandmont 1. My phone keeps going off every morning for somebody shooting guns. Thank God they're not in Grandmont number 1. But they shooting up a storm in Grandmont, and that area north of Grand River, east of Southfield, and of course anything south of Schoolcraft is that's just wild, wild west. So, but so far, except for the occasional stolen car, and it's always a car that's parked outside. Nobody ever gets their car stolen in their garage. So other than that, I'm going to ask if anything to report here for any kind of crime, because you've got various people online that you might want to. You got Carla, you got Elisa Bell, you had somebody from the city council. So if there's any crime problems, now's the time for you to spit it out and say it. Anybody.
Through the chair.
Go ahead. And excuse me, we have Board of Police Commissioner, Vice Chair Annie Mae Hope. So y'all got some crime problems. We got the crime solvers right here.
Okay, what I'd like to say is,
I'm sorry.
I need our association and the membership to begin attending, if you have not already, Board of Police Commissioners meeting. I can send the invite to the chair, Oliver here, and he can send it out to the membership. Now, he just was making comments about the shooting. The Detroit Police Department received funding and council, okay, for us to now engage in a technology-based monitoring system that's called Shot Spotter.
Mhm.
And what it does is it can accurately detect the location where firearms are being released if it is in the open. Because it is technology, it's getting, it's already okay by council. And again, DPD received the money, but citizens are pushing back because they see it as another invasion of privacy. So again, I'll send the invitation to for the meeting to Thursday. And then if you have some time to get on that meeting, and if the shot spotter is a conversation that might surface, even though I don't see it on this agenda, but it is quite controversial in the sense that it's technology, and people associate it with facial recognition and also the green light. And let me say this too: people come online and they object to the green light, and they also object to facial recognition. Now, Councilmember Tate really expressed to me the sentiment that we hold over here in this part of the city, whereby we appreciate the green lights. Now, we might not have necessarily understood the magnitude of facial recognition, but as Councilmember Tate said, and I'm trying to paraphrase, we feel comfortable with those two pieces of technology. So now with this third piece of technology coming down the pike, we need to know, how do you feel? And it's gonna cover the 8th precinct and the 9th precinct. It's not throughout the city. We are the models for those two access to technology, again, that can accurately detect from where a gun has been released if it is out in the open.
Okay.
So I'll send you the invite. I saw you on the meeting last week.
I was gonna say.
Right, I saw you. So I'll send it to you again.
I didn't comment, I listened, because when
Right.
you pin this stuff, it's like anything else. Everybody got an answer to everything, but sometimes you got to sit back and listen to what's being presented and then digest the facts or digest the information that you've just received. You have to determine whether this is factual or not. That causes you to now go do your research. Now, everybody heard the term shot spotter. It's simple. All you gotta do is go online, type in shot spotter. It will tell you exactly what it is. So there's things that we need, active citizenship is what Grandmont #1 is. We receive the information from our elected officials, or we bring stuff to them, but then we go research what we not only bringing, but what we're also getting from them. And if I don't know if Councilmember Tate or anybody from his office is still on, but very well done on the new marijuana ordinance that is trying to level the playing field so that some of our folks can make some of this money and my stock go up off of this medical marijuana. I don't smoke the stuff, but I invested in it, so I don't care. I don't care. Y'all smoke it to death. I don't care. But I do like the fact that I've talked to our state senators, and I will be talking to our newly elected state reps. I want the prison sentences commuted for anybody that was selling marijuana that is currently locked up in prison for selling marijuana. Mostly Black men, the Granville boys. You don't see them no more because they locked up, but they selling dope. But now you got white folks all along 8 Mile Road, and there's a new place on Evergreen. They put the hammer to that building over on Evergreen, just south of Schoolcraft, in a day. It had been an industrial wasteland for 25 years. They bought it, slapped it up there, gonna sell. I guess they're gonna sell marijuana out there. It said 420 something, so I guess that's cool. I'm a little hip, but I don't like the idea that, and I'm gonna just say it, that Black folks are being shut out of the process. It's almost like the liquor license. Well, you can have a liquor license if you got $250,000. Well, then you can't get one. And it's the same thing. The marijuana licensing is it's such a maze of stuff you have to go through in addition to the money. So we got to we can't have a level playing field when your level playing field is a minefield. And every time you take a step, you blow up. So I want to commend the councilman for pushing, and I understand it's not everything, but it's a start at something. And I say it again, we, the people in the city of Detroit, we can make any laws and change any laws in our city charter that we want to. We don't have to listen to nobody outside of 8 Mile, 5 Points, because we run the city of Detroit. And when we decide we want to do something and change it to benefit the demographic that we got now, I don't want to hear nobody tell me something about, oh, that law's been on the books since 1926. I don't care. In 19,
Through the chair, you wondered if Councilmember Tate is still on. He's still here.
okay, I hear, but he's listening. But yeah, I'm talking to this is the same thing I've said to every elected official. When I hear them tell me about something, it's like when they told me speed bumps was against the law. Change the law. We're living here now. I don't want to go by something. You see what happens when the Democratic governor pulled out and used the executive powers. The Republicans said, we're going to change that law since 1945. They don't play. They don't play. They don't play by the rules. And when the game is over for them, they change the rules. We got to fight this fight on their terms, how they fight and how they win. When we see stuff that's gone wrong in Detroit, and we're the citizens of Detroit, we bring it to our elected officials and say, these are the laws that we want to represent us now. Not what was on the books in 1926, but what we need to live with now. That's my rant. Okay. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. Okay, block captains and committees, we're taking volunteers. If you are on a block, and when we say block captain, we don't mean all 3 blocks from Schoolcraft to Linden. We mean the one block you live on, in the case of us, Piedmont, between Acacia and Linden. That's all that we want. And if you really want to micromanage your block, you can just take your side of the block. But we need block captains and committees. Things you and your neighbor can do to improve Grandmont 1. Number 1 thing, don't litter. I know ain't nobody on this listening here is littering, but we go out every day or every other day. We have to pick up a half a pint of Seagram's gin, or sometimes they got a little more money. It's Patron, a beer. I don't know why. You're still getting 10 cents, but they throw the beer cans out. Trash and paper, stuff like that. But I know we don't do that, but we do have other folks driving through, throwing stuff out of their cars. And when we're back to GRDC houses and property, I don't know of any. I think there was one, Annie, you're here. I think it was Penrod. I think they were doing something on Penrod. I'm not sure. Support District 1, businesses, Grand River, and Schoolcraft. Support District 1 businesses because this is, they've already did a dire prediction that 1 in 5 small businesses don't make it 5 years anyway. And I was listening to a restaurateur in Chicago online tell me, well, he was actually on the news, and his quote was, the restaurant industry as we knew it is dead. I don't see how any indoor restaurant is going to survive. I really don't. Because unless even with the governor's restrictions and the partial limitations, and the same thing for the casinos, I don't see how they're going to survive with this limited capacity to operate. And if they can survive, then that just tells me that they were way overcharging in the first place. But I can't understand. I went to the Apple store today, and you know how Apple store had all that big expanse for you to shop? They now have a counter up front. You can't go 5 feet inside the store. You can't see no displays. You can't see no Apples. You can't see no iPads, nothing. So a lot of these places, to me as a business person, that's what you call a fixed cost. How many square feet you have to operate. But you got to turn your turnkey operation is, I have to have XYZ dollars to cover my fixed costs. Your fixed costs are your rent, the floor space are. So I'm trying to figure out how they're going to survive. Denise is hurrying me along, but they can't survive without customers. So if you do what you can to support the Detroit, the District 1 businesses on Grand River and Schoolcraft, keep Grandmont 1 beautiful. Homeowner rental, we're getting a little snow. We do not have sidewalk snow removal. And for 2021, I'm gonna ask that we get, what do you have now? We got 1 hour to go. 2021 activities and suggestions. Anybody have any type of suggestion or idea? Okay, Teresa sent me a file. What do I do with it? Oh, okay. Who's at top or something like it? Anybody have any suggestions or ideas for what we can do just for 2021? Bearing in mind COVID.
I'll still be blocking off the park. Last year we had it,
That's Denise
3
talking.
months. We had a day in June, July, and August. I'm also going to possibly get, a day for May as well. Might as well. We don't know what's gonna happen with COVID. We don't know when we'll even be allowed in the park, so we may as well have, a couple of, times and places available. So that when we do come up with some activities, we'll have it.
Well, I am hoping, I thought about it. I thought about it over this term, that may, when the weather turns, when it gets warmer, that means well over 55, 60 degrees. And we have more daylight, that we might have at the park meetings where we could meet outdoors for our Grandmont #1 meeting. Of course, it'll rain, but you know, that's the way it goes. But I'm thinking about that as a way for us to get out. And as I said before, I'm trying to figure out, and I don't see Alexander on the board, but I'm trying to figure out how the executive board can have a face-to-face meeting safely. But hopefully with the good news that I heard on the news so far tonight, the vaccine will roll out and people over 65, me, will get it and get my ass vaccinated. I did get a flu shot, so if you haven't had a flu shot, get your flu shot. But anything else? I see now we're at the end of our meeting, so open commentary from anyone. And then we'll have our elected leaders and representatives give us their opinion.
Okay.
Good
I-
afternoon,
through the
everyone.
chair.
Alicia Bell, she started with A. Alicia Bell.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Commissioner.
Good to see you guys, although you can't see me because I'm not very presentable right now, but good to see you all. I just want to wish you all a happy holidays upcoming, and to kind of piggyback on what President Cole spoke about earlier with the speed bumps. That's outside of our jurisdiction at the county. However, last week we did make amendments to our nuisance ordinance that puts more teeth into speeding and drifting and drag racing.
Yes.
So that is something that I sponsored a couple of weeks ago, and we're very excited to roll that out. We need to have a PSA and a campaign to let people know what the new consequences are, just so that they are aware that we're watching them closely and that you will get your car taken and we will sell your car. The proceeds will go to us. So we want to make sure that they're aware of those consequences. And it's ironic because just the other day, right here on my block, and I'm on Oakman, which is a very residential street,
Yeah.
right in the middle, they were doing that, those donuts right in the middle. And I called the police because I couldn't believe it. I mean, I could look out my window and see it. By the time the police came, of course, they were gone because they don't do it very long. But just the fact that they're doing it, endangering the lives of people here in our city, is so dangerous. So we're looking forward to getting the word out about that ordinance and making people know that there are consequences to their actions. Other than that, we are chugging right along on our Zoom meetings, which are first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. and our committee meetings are opposite weeks. So please feel free to chime in, and hopefully everyone gets my electronic newsletter where I have a lot of great information about what we're doing at the county.
Commissioner Bell?
Yes.
First of all, two things. Thank you very much for your introduction and the resolution condemning the two Wayne County commissioners for trying to disenfranchise 600,000 people in Detroit, Michigan in the last presidential election. And secondly, any update on Sheriff Napoleon?
The sheriff is still in the hospital. I attended a small prayer vigil for him on Sunday. He's okay. He's not dire, um, but he's okay for now. We're want to keep him in our prayers as time goes by to make sure that he recovers to the best possible way that he can. He's a strong guy. That family, unfortunately, his siblings, three of his siblings also contracted COVID-19 this year. So, but they all, survived. They didn't pass away, and we're confident that the sheriff will come through this as well. So, we just want to keep him in our prayers.
Yes, the sheriff is.
And as far as those two um, uh, Wayne County canvassers, I had a resolution hot and ready to drop. We haven't put it forth to the body, or haven't put it forth to the body yet. There's still some things we're going to do because I think the behavior trying to disenfranchise the city of Detroit voters is just not the characteristics of people who should be serving in the public body, such as the Wayne County canvassers. And I will be dealing with them.
Okay, we're going to also be questioning you because a lot of things I've had a few people ask me, what does it take to become a Wayne County canvasser? How do you get?
I know that's the hot question.
Yeah.
So what it is, the two it's a 4-member body, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats. They're recommended by their party to the Wayne County Commission, and then we choose from what the parties recommend to us. I will tell you that the 2 that are currently serving, there were vacancies. Those are not the 2 that we appointed. When there's a vacancy that occurs, the Wayne County clerk fills the vacancy. So over the last 18 months, there were 2 vacancies. The same process occurred. The Republican Party gave her a couple of nominees or names, and they were appointed by the clerk. The persons that we appointed at the Wayne County Commission, both of those people resigned within the last 18 months.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. And this is just a microscopic view that politics, we think we know the process, but we're learning there's a deeper there are ways, there's rules to the game, and a lot of us are lay people, we don't really understand how stuff gets done, but when it blows up, we're ready to riot, fight, do whatnot. But let's just try to, everybody's got their civics lessons this year, or they should have.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Everybody's a constitutional scholar on Facebook. They can, that I've heard the 12th Amendment and the 13th Amendment, and everybody's they pulled out them dusty U.S. constitutions and read them front to back. But we also need to read the Michigan Constitution and the Detroit City Charter, and I believe the Wayne County Charter as well.
The Wayne County Charter as well. We have a charter that we bind by. Mm-hmm.
All politics is local. What happens here
Absolutely.
affects us, not what's happening in Kansas. Okay. Anyone else?
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Carla, do you have anything from the?
Yes, sir. I wanted to just kind of go back to a couple things that were discussed this evening. Number one, for the shot spotter that Ms. Holt brought up, I just wanted District 1 to know that our area will be between 7 and 8 Mile and between Evergreen and Losser. That's the 6.48 miles that shot spotter will cover for us. And as was stated, it's sensor driven. So as they hear it, they'll be able to respond. When we hear something, we know we heard it, but we really don't know which direction it came from, how far away. And so hopefully we'll get some better coverage when that comes into play. I also wanted to state that the lots that you discussed, Kaya is also working on that. So I wanted Councilman Tate to hear that. Kaya's working on that and trying to get it part of the neighborhood lots program, which is a new land use as far as the land bank is concerned, where community groups like yours have been taking care of areas. And so we're trying to move in that vein. I'll make sure she gives a report. So when Councilman Tate looks into it, he already has the most up-to-date information. And you spoke about the vaccines. So, we're trying to just get people to educate themselves on it. We'll be giving out information about it. It seems like it's going to be seems like it's going to be a very intense operation. So those persons that are ready to get the vaccine, you know, the number of 5,000 per day is a large number, but we definitely want people to be safe and vaccinated as soon as possible, especially if those are persons that are ready to go right now. So just want to let you know that we still have our meetings on Thursday at 5:30, and we'll be doing that all the way to the end of the year. If there's a topic that we haven't discussed and someone would like to hear it, if you could please reach out to us and let us know. And also, if we can ask for a list to the best of your ability of email addresses, we like to make sure that persons are receiving our newsletter every Monday. Thank you, Mr. Harris. I did get your voicemail, and those pieces of debris should be picked up this week according to the special pickup list. That's all
Well,
for me, Mr. Cole.
Carla,
Yes, sir.
will we get that illegal dump sign at that vacant lot and also on Vita School playground?
Yes, sir. So the way we try to do it, Mr. Harris, is as soon as the items are picked up, that's when we try to follow it up with the sign. We don't want people
Okay.
to see the sign and a bunch of trash right next to it.
Okay.
And then
All right.
myself or Kaya will come out and put the sign out so that members of your community don't see you put it out and feel like it's not a real sign. So we'll put it out there. The sign will have a camera on there, but just know everyone, we do not know where the police moves the cameras and how often. So it just gives a person notification that the camera could be in their area, but we will not be telling you where it is and when it's placed.
Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot. Appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair,
Yes. Who's
and
this?
greetings, Grandmont. Number one, I just wanted to say that things have been busy since the primary. I don't think I had a chance to really connect with you all since then, since primarily between the primary and the general election. I spent a lot of time working with the Democratic leadership. We traveled across the state. We tried our best to flip the House to get majority. You know, we fell short. So that means it's going to take our real public relations and community bridge building skills to get things done in the House when you don't hold the gavel. But that's okay. We're working on that. We've talked about committees. I don't have committee assignments yet because the new speaker in the Republican Party, they're revamping the committees that we currently have. So there's no way to know we don't even know what the committees are going to be. That's all a part of what they do. On our first day in our orientation, I'll just share with you to give you just a little bit of insight of what it's going to be like. There's a bipartisan orientation, and we were all there, and I'm meeting everybody because at this point I got to meet everybody. I need to know everybody. I'm getting Republican cards so I can start forming relationships to be able to bring things back to the 8th district, right? And in the middle of our training, the Republican leadership calls all of their freshmen out of the training, and they never came back. They kept them in caucus the rest of the time. We couldn't even finish our own training. And so that's what it looks like up in Lansing right now. You guys have seen, it's going to be crazy, but I know that I don't go by myself. I know that I have all of you all support to get things done and to stand. That's what we have to do. One of the people that I really have always looked up to, and that's Leslie Love. When you look at Leslie Love's record of getting things done, she found a way to pass more laws than any Democrat in the House, in the minority. That's what you got to find a way to do. And so I'm going to be doing that. Just one thing, Mr. Chair, you talked about working with getting rid of those sentences for those convicted of marijuana crimes. And we're already working on that. During COVID, there was a group that started Mercy for All. Some of you may know Tashana Gill. But we meet on Fridays with the sheriff, not the sheriff. We meet with what's his name? Dunlap from the sheriff's office, Chief Dunlap over the jails, Daryl Wood, who's a prison and prisoner advocate, along with Kim Worthy, our prosecutor. We're all on these calls and we're working on policy and other things to address these types of inequities that you talked about, Mr. Chair. And so I just wanted you guys to know I'm on it as always. My phone number didn't change. I saw the one the district managers have. My personal cell is still the same. So you guys feel free to call me anytime. It won't be changing. Just like Mr. Cole said, I had the same one for a long time, and I'm right down the street on Rosemont. So thank you for the time, sir.
Thank you, and congratulations again, State Rep. We have to charge you by your title now. I got to change your email. Yes, take up. Okay. Anyone else representing Councilmember Tate? Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good evening, everyone. Blessed to be here in December of 2020. We didn't know what life was going to look like earlier this year. I lost 7 friends and classmates to COVID. And thankful, we're all healthy here in the household, but it's a tough time. So I'm very thankful and appreciative to just be here and say hello and good evening to you all. Thank you as well, Mr. Chair, for acknowledging the hard work that we put forward on this adult use marijuana, recreational marijuana ordinance. 2 years of hard work. We had a work group that started out as about 40 people, but it dwindled down to just the leadership. Not that others weren't participating, but just can't have multiple meetings with 40 people. And some of them were people who don't even live in the city of Detroit, but they have ties to the city. Their family lives in the city. We got to give major shout out to the Duggan administration as well, because while we have an ordinance on the table, it doesn't work if you don't have the processes and the systems able to deal with the capacity of what we're going to be dealing with. And so there's been a lot of meetings just for the folks who are listening, because I know that I've gotten calls. A lot of people have asked, well, how is the city of Detroit going to really manage something of this magnitude? You don't do, in some people's minds, a lot of things very well. Well, we know that we do have some challenges internally with our system. So there was a meeting just last week with about 30 plus people on it within the administration and DEGC, all working together to make sure that this actually takes off and works properly. And what we have in the city of Detroit is a very aggressive ordinance that deals with social equity. For folks who are listening, I'll be very, very brief, Mr. Chair, but it provides for the city of Detroit to opt into all of the licenses that are available for the state of Michigan. But what we wanted to do is make sure that we provided residents of the city of Detroit an opportunity to get into this industry and be successful. What we have right now are medical provisioning centers, medical marijuana provisioning centers. And out of the 45 that exist in the city of Detroit, only 4 are owned by Detroiters. And if we did not do anything drastic, we would have had the same situation with the recreational cannabis market as well. So we were very aggressive, made sure that 50% of all licenses will go to legacy Detroiters. Legacy Detroiters will also have benefit of discounts on licensing the first year, the licensing for legacy Detroiters in the city of Detroit. And we can't do anything about state fees, but the city of Detroit fees, 1% is what the legacy Detroiters will pay on all of the licensing for the first year. The second year, 25%. Now the third year, that's when the rates go up to the full capacity. We also are working to free up certain properties within the city of Detroit, commercial properties, and offering them to legacy Detroiters for a 75% discount, which as well is significant because there are a number of individuals in cities outside of the city of Detroit, urban communities in particular, who do make note that there are no properties available. When they do become available in the areas that are zoned for cannabis, you end up having the landowner charging up to 3, maybe 4 or 5 times the amount that the property is actually truly worth. And so what we wanted to do is free up that opportunity for legacy Detroiters. Legacy Detroiter is essentially a Detroiter that has lived in the city of Detroit at least up to a year prior to the application, and then they fall into 3 different categories. You have to have lived in the city of Detroit for at least the time that you apply for your application, but 3 different categories as well. So if you lived in the city of Detroit for 15 out of the last 30 years, congratulations, you're a legacy Detroiter. If you have lived in the city of Detroit for 13 out of the past 30 years and you're qualified as low income, you're a legacy Detroiter. If you are lived in the city of Detroit for 10 years out of the last 30 years and you are have been previously convicted for a marijuana related crime, then you are a legacy Detroiter. And we'll have much more information. You can go to the website. We've had it set up for a while. We just don't really publicize it that much. It's JamesTateD1.com. JamesTateD1.com. I just looked on it just now. We still have the proposed ordinance. There were a few changes that were made. If you go under initiatives, the area that says initiative, you'll see marijuana, proposed marijuana ordinance. Like I said, I got to get with my communications person and change it to the actual ordinance because there were some issues that were changed, but you have an opportunity to review that. The biggest piece to me is that we added, now I'll wind down, Mr. Chair, is that we made sure that you can't just open up a business in a neighborhood and residents don't know about it. And so the entities that are seeking to set their business into a neighborhood have to commit to a good neighbor plan, and we have that outlined in the ordinance as well. That good neighbor plan partially includes the individual having actual community meetings before the business is established within that particular neighborhood, and the residents of each one of those businesses, will have to have a land use hearing, which provides an opportunity for the public to weigh in on that businesses being open in that neighborhood. So if you have any additional questions, by all means, you can give me a call in the office. We're not technically there right now, so if you leave a voicemail, we'll call you back. It's 313-224-1027. And you can always email us at councilmembertate@detroitmi.gov. councilmembertate@detroitmi.gov for any and all concerns and issues. And lastly, we have been having District 1 monthly meetings live in person, District 1 monthly meetings since 2013, and COVID wiped all of that out. Haven't been able to do that, but I wanted to announce that we are going to go back to a live format. We've been having D1 monthly meetings, but they've been pre-recorded. But we're going to a live virtual format for D1 monthly meetings beginning in 2021. So looking forward to that. We have the capability and I want to further engage in the community. So thank you again. Happy holidays to everyone. God bless and good evening. Be safe.
Is there any other comments from any other elected officials or representatives? No. Any comments from any other citizens?
Yeah.
Through the chair.
Okay, Harold Harris first, please, Ann. Go
I
ahead.
wanted to know if Councilman Tate can check on 19010 Schoolcraft at Artesian in Detroit to see businesses set up there, but we don't know what it is because they have no sign. And I understand no one has been able to find out whether they're licensed or not, but I see people constantly going in and out,
What's the address again?
A lot of activity there. Yeah.
19010 Schoolcraft at Artesian. It's a tan building right at the traffic lane,
A lot of traffic.
And they got 3 different doors, and they usually go in this one door that's near the apartment building on Warwick.
We'll follow up. We'll get that information to Mr. Chair as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, Annie.
Okay, thank you, Harold, for bringing that to our attention again. Now, Commander Patterson up at the 8th, he made a visit, and apparently whoever was there swore that they were not, that they did have license to conduct business. But of course, since then, we've discovered that that was not true. That if you came on the Board of Police Commissioners meeting, that is the kind of comment you could make as it relates to our community. The police have a spot on the agenda, and they give the stats throughout the city. And again, that's the kind of comment that's the kind of complaint that we need you to make at the Board of Police Commissioners meeting. Because I'm sure Commander Patterson is trying his due diligence, but unfortunately, unless there is a community spirit behind those kind of complaints, they're not going to happen. Thank you, Councilmember Tate, for your fight to make sure the citizens of Detroit are empowered as it relates to the access and acquisition of legal, recreational, and medicinal marijuana businesses. Now, okay, the Detroit Health Department is empowered to issue tickets. They can issue tickets to businesses as well as individuals who violate social distancing. And it's the same kind of process that was under the executive order under Governor Gresham. There's a law on the books that says that when there is an epidemic, the health department must take over to ensure that people are following the guidelines. And obviously we're talking about people not social distancing. We're talking about businesses allowing their customers to come into their businesses without wearing masks. They've also discovered that even in the example of charter schools are not following through with the mandates of social distancing and or the mask. So, and those tickets are from like $200 to $1,000. Now, in some examples, you might see the police presence, but it is not DPD that's leading the charge or issuing these tickets. Again, these tickets are being issued by the Detroit Health Department.
Well,
Mr.
Oh,
Cole,
and
can
also I put the information about the meeting Thursday in the chat. We need you guys on those meetings, especially from over here. Because, you know, we get along, we don't have a lot of issues. So people assume that because we don't make complaints, then whatever accusations are made at the meetings, that's status quo. How complaints come through, then the assumption is that that's how the whole city believes. So we really need you, Grandmont #1, and other folks throughout the Northwest area to be on those Board of Police Commissioners meeting. And thank you, Chair, and Carla, and Tate, Councilmember Tate, and Commissioner Alicia, and Stephanie Young, elect. Thank you so much. And I heard you, so we're good. We're good. Thank you a lot.
okay.
Mr. Cole, can I just add to what Ms. Holt just said? If persons have their pen and paper, if you see a business is violating the safety restrictions, if you could please call 313-876-4000. Again, 313-876-4000. Sometimes businesses will put that sign up to say you have to have a mask, but they do not mandate it, and they still will take that money. And so if you want to buy what you're going to buy, go ahead. And then as soon as you get to your car, call that number so that they can get somebody in there. You know, sometimes you have to get the word out that the tickets are coming so that people can be in compliance. The vaccines aren't going to help if people still aren't doing the right thing, because it's the right thing to do. So please call that number. And as Ms. Holt said, those fines go up to $1,000.
Through the chair. Thank you, Carla.
Now, anyone that's online, as I said, I typed it in the chat. If you go over to the chat box and you down at the bottom where it says to everyone, then it'll say file. Then there's a little box with 3 dots. If you click on that, it'll say save chat. And that will save all of that information that's in the chat to your, in my case, to my desktop, so that you can then go back and look at all the things that all the numbers, all the websites, everything else. And that's a way to keep the chat. I found that out through another Zoom. And that's been really helpful for me to go back through the Zoom meetings, and any Zoom meeting, I guess you can do it, and save the chats where it helps you to follow up on stuff after the meeting's over with. If there's nothing else, I'm gonna bid everybody adieu, stay safe, and we'll see you later. We'll see you next week. It's 2001. Oh, Grandma #1. There will be no volunteer of the year this year, because it's not because no one's deserved it, but it's because without personal input, there's no way for us to do it. Obviously, there's not going to be any holiday party, so we're going to save ourselves $400-500 this year. But we're going to figure out some way to, as I said, I'm hopeful. When this thing started back in February, that's when it started for me, started taking COVID serious. We had just got back from Mardi Gras. And so we went to the biggest super spreader event you could possibly go to. So I took it serious day one. And I was talking to my wife and I said, I'll be surprised if we got this thing under control here. Now I'm not a prophet. There ain't no way in the world I expected 270,000 people to be dead. And mask, no mask, vaccine, no vaccine. We have human beings, and a lot early when this thing first started up, Detroiters were dropping like flies. I mean, we were dying at 2-5. I mean, there was one where the bishops from the Kojic community went to a funeral, and every last one of them died. So it hit us hard and fast. Detroit got its game together. Councilman, mayor, y'all stop that foolishness going out there at Rouge Park. You stop that mess that's going on. I go to these party stores. They got compliance here. You go in one of these party stores in Detroit and ain't got no mask on, they tell you get out. So we got, because we were dying first, we had to stop it first. Now, those folks that want to go out and protest at Lansing with a gun ain't going to kill a virus. But they took that back to Livingston County and all these places way up north. Now I can't even go up there because they all infested with this mess. But hopefully this vaccine work, vaccines, because there's about 6 of them now. And then hopefully even further is that people will take it, because we have to have some level of herd immunity to happen. So I'm hoping that as we go into the holiday seasons, we'll all take care of ourselves. Merry Christmas to you. Happy Kwanzaa to you. And what's the Jewish one? Happy Hanukkah to you. And the Muslims is what? I can't think of that one. Ramadan, that was the last one. Anyway, want you guys to all be safe. Happy New Year too, because you won't see us again until January the 1st or 2nd, whatever it's going to be. And we're looking forward to seeing everybody, and take care of yourselves and your families. Bye-bye.
Okay, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Bye.
Take care, bye-bye.
Bye.
Now,